Hello guys, welcome to another video in the series of coding. Today we have with us a problem that's called longest increasing path in a matrix. So you are given a matrix, you have to return the length of longest increasing path in the matrix, and you can move left, right, up or down, you cannot move diagonally. So let's try to take this example to understand. So in this you can see there are many increasing paths. For example, let's say 4, 8 is one path because 8 is greater than 4. So it's a path of two elements, but it is not the longest increasing path because longest increasing path is 1 2 6 9. Let's say it's a path of four elements because you see 9 is greater than 6, 6 is greater than 2, 2 is greater than 1, so it is forming a increasing subsequence of length 4. So how do we solve this question? So we use dynamic programming and memorization to solve this question. So memorization to actually store the already stored values and save some time complexity and memory. So that's what we are going to do. We are going to use the memorization technique. So first, what we are going to do is let's iterate over all elements. Okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to iterate over all the elements in the matrix one by one in let's say this particular order. Let's say we are going in this particular order. First this element, then this element, and so on. So we are going to go over each element one by one, and we are going to find the longest increasing sequence of that particular element, right? So that's what we are going to do. And if we find some values, we are going to store that in the memorization matrix. So let me draw this matrix. And let's say we are going over the first element, which is 9. Okay. Now, to find the longest increasing sequence, which is formed using this particular element, it's going to make a call to all of its neighbors. So it's going to call all of its neighbors and it's going to ask the neighbors if they are helping it to form an increasing subsequence or not. For example, 9 makes a recursive call to its right neighbor, which is again 9. Now, 9 is not greater than 9, right? So its right neighbor is useless. So its right neighbor will return back the call. Then it will make a call to its bottom neighbor. Its bottom neighbor is also useless because 6 is smaller than 9. So its bottom neighbor is also useless. It will return back the call. Okay, it will just return 0. Then it will make a call, let's say, to its left neighbor. Its left neighbor is out of bounds, so it is also useless. It will make a call to its top neighbor. Its top neighbor is also out of bounds, so it is also useless. Okay, so finally it is just forming an increasing subsequence maximum of length 1. So that's what we will store in the memorization. So corresponding to 9, in the first row first column we are going to store 1 because it is just forming an increasing subsequence of length 1. Okay, now we'll go to the next element. So next element is again 9. It will make a call to all of its neighbors. Okay, so first let's say it's make a call to its right neighbor. So we'll just consider this function call 4. 4 is less than 9. Now 4 is also not forming a increasing subsequence. So what we are going to do is this function call is also useless. We'll go back to making a function call to its down neighbor. Now its down neighbor is 6. 6 is less than 9. This is also useless. So it will return the callback. Okay. Then it will make a function call, let's say, to its left neighbor. Its left neighbor is 9. Now 9 is equal to 9. It's also useless. It's not helping it to form a increasing subsequence. It will return back. It will make a call to its top neighbor. Its top neighbor is out of bounds, so it's also useless. So finally, after all the function calls, it just gets a single element, right? So the single element is forming the increasing subsequence. It's own element. So that is 1. The length of the longest increasing subsequence formed using 9 is just 1. So corresponding to that, I have stored 1. Okay, now we'll go forward to the next element. So 4. Now 4 is going to make a call to its right neighbor first. Its right neighbor is out of bounds. It will return back. It will make a call to its bottom neighbor. Now its bottom neighbor is 8. 8 is greater than 4. So this is the first useful neighbor. So what it's going to do, 8 is, now we are going to enter into the recursive call of 8. Now 8 is going to call all of its neighbors. Okay, let's say we have entered the recursive call of 8. 8 is going to call its right neighbor first. It's going to go out of bounds, so it will return back. It will call its down neighbor. Its down neighbor is 1. 1 is less than 8, so its down neighbor is useless, so it will just return back the function call. Then it's going to call its left neighbor. Now 6 is less than 8, so this is also useless, so its left neighbor will also return back. It will just return 0. Okay, it will call its top neighbor. Its top neighbor is also useless because 4 is less than 8, so this function call will also just return 0. So finally 8 is also a single lone element because it's alone able to just form an increasing subsequence of length 1. So we'll store that in the memorization matrix. And now we'll return back the function call. So we were actually in the original function call of 4, but we went ahead to the function call of 8 because we found an element, okay, that was able to form the increasing subsequence. So now 8 has returned back 1. 8 has returned back 1. So 4 will form an increasing subsequence of length 1 plus 1, which is 2. So we will store 2 in the memoization matrix. Okay. uh, I mean, now it will actually, it will save 2. It will store the maximum value of whatever it's all of its neighbors written. Okay. So let's say we are not storing 2 for now. Let's say we are just keeping 2, okay, as such. Okay, so let's say we'll declare another variable. Let me call it current max, and this current max variable is going to have 2 for now, because 4 has not finished its function call from all of its neighbors. It called its right neighbor that returned, okay, that returned a value of 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay, so its right neighbor returned a value of 1. Its bottom neighbor returned a value of 2. Okay, so current max has to choose the maximum values between, let's say, 1 comma 2. Okay, now it will also make a function call to its other neighbors. Let's say it makes a function call to its left neighbor. Its left neighbor is 9. Okay, now 9 is also greater than 4. So 9 is greater than 4. So this is a useful neighbor. Now 9 is already having the value 1 in the memoization matrix. So we can directly get the value corresponding to 9 from the memoization matrix. We need not enter into recursive calls like we did for 8. Okay, so 9 is having a value 1. Corresponding to 9, there's a value 1 in the memoization matrix. So it will simply return back 1. It will return back 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So the left neighbor for 4 has returned back a value of 2. I mean, it has returned 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So current max has to choose between 1 comma 2 comma 2, and also make a function call to, let's say, so it had made a function call to its right neighbor. Its right neighbor returns 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Its bottom neighbor returned 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So corresponding to that, I've written 2 here. Its left neighbor had return 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so we have options between 1 1 and 1 2 and 2. Now 4 will also make a function call to its top neighbor. Its top neighbor is out of bounds, so it will return 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay, so its 4 neighbors have returned back these corresponding values: 1 2 2 and 1. Maximum of these values is 2. So in the memoization matrix corresponding to 4, we can store 2. Okay, so this is the process that we are going to undertake, and let's quickly go over even other elements to make it even more clear. So I'll just erase all this. So now this is the memoization matrix that we have filled as of now. Let's go forward to the next. So next element we are encountering is 6, because we have already encountered elements 9 9 and 4. Now we have next element, which is 6. 6 will make a call to, let's say, its right neighbor. Its right neighbor is useless because it's not having a value greater than 6, so it will return back the function call. It will make a function call to, let's say, its below neighbor. Below neighbor is also useless because 2 is less than 6, so it will also return back just 0. Okay, and then it'll make a function call to, let's say, its left neighbor. Its left neighbor is useless, it's out of bounds. Then it will make a function call to, let's say, its top neighbor. Its top neighbor is 9. 9 is greater than 6, so this is a useful neighbor. So we will search the value in the memoization matrix that is corresponding to 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So in the memoization matrix, we will store 2. So 6 is forming a maximum increasing subsequence of length 2. Okay, and it is having these two elements, 6 and 9. So 1 and 2. Two elements are there. So that is why we have stored 2 in the memoization matrix. Okay. Now let's go forward to the next element. Next element is this particular 6. 6 will make a function call first to its right neighbor, 8. 8 is having a value of 1. So it will return back 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay. So current max has to choose between, let's say, 4 values from all of its 4 neighbors. So right neighbor for 6 has returned back a value of 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So current max has to choose between 2 from its right neighbor and then make a function call to all of its other neighbors. So its bottom neighbor is useless because 1 is less than 6. It will just return back 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay, so I'll write that here. Then it'll make a function call to its, let's say, left neighbor. Left neighbor is useless because 6 is not greater than 6. So it'll return 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. So I will write 1 here. I will make a call to its top neighbor. Its top neighbor is having a value of 1 in the memoization matrix. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. It will return back 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So current max has to choose between 2 comma 1 comma 1 comma 2, right? So now 2 is the maximum among all these four things is 2, so we will store 2 in the memoization matrix. So I hope that the logic is building up, and we will go forward to the next element. So when we go to 8, okay, when we are iterating over 8, it's already having a value in the memoization matrix, so we can just save that value because we have already done the recursive calls and we have found the value is 1. So it will save a lot of time for us. So already 1 is there, so we can go forward to the next element. Now 2. Now 2 will make a call first to its right neighbor. Its right neighbor 1. 1 is less than 2. It's a useless neighbor, so it will just return back 0. Okay. So it's returning back 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. Okay. Let's say it has to choose current max. current max is an element that is storing the values. So currently its right neighbor has returned back 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, so I have written 1 here. Okay, then it will make a function call to its below neighbor. Its below neighbor is out of bounds, so it will return back 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, so I have written 1 here. It will make a call to its left neighbor. Its left neighbor will return back 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, so again 1. Now it will make a call to its top neighbor. Its top neighbor is 6. 6 is already having a value from the memoization matrix, which is 2. So already we have got the value that 6 is forming an increasing sequence of C length 2. It was forming an increasing sequence with 9 with the help of 9. So 2, 6 and 9 will form an increasing sequence. You can see it is of length 3. So its top neighbor will return back 2. 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. So current max has to choose between 1, 1, 1 and 3. So whichever is maximum, 3 is maximum. So we will store 3 here. And the increasing subsequent that you can see is 2, 6, 9. Okay, so now let's go forward to the next element. Before doing that, I will just erase these so that we are not in any confusion. Now we will go over this current element. So this current element will make a call to its right neighbor. Its right neighbor is useless, okay, because it is just 1 is not greater than 1. So current max has to choose between 1, because this will return 0, 0 plus 1 is 1. It will call its down neighbor. Its down neighbor is also useless, it's out of bounds, so I will store 1 for that. It will make a call to its left neighbor. Left neighbor is 2. 2 is greater than 1, right? So this is a helpful neighbor. Now it is having a value of 3. Okay, in the memoization matrix corresponding to 2, there's a value of 3. That means 2 was already forming a subsequence of length 3. So it will return back 3. And now 3 plus 1 is 4. One more element has been added to the subsequence. Okay, so now finally we have this particular sequence of length 4. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. So 4. Okay, I will write 4 here. And let me uh, go back to 1. Okay, now 1 has made recursive call to its right neighbor, to its down neighbor, to its left neighbor. It is left to make a recursive call to its top neighbor. Now its top neighbor is having a value of 6. It's again a helpful neighbor because 6 is greater than 1. So we will see in the memoization matrix corresponding to 6, that's a value of 2 stored, so it will return back 2. Okay, so 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. So its top neighbor returns back 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So now we have got 4 values, and its current max is the current max variable that is going to find the maximum of these 4 values returned by all of its neighbors. So maximum is 4. So we are going to store 4 in the memoization matrix. Okay, and now let's go to our last example. So let me just erase these things here so that it's not confusing. So our last example is this element 1. 1 will make a call to its right neighbor. Its right neighbor is useless. Okay, then it will make a call to its bottom neighbor. Its bottom neighbor is also useless because it will return 0. It's out of bounds. It will make a call to its left neighbor. Its left neighbor is useless because 1 is not greater than 1. Then it will make a call to its top neighbor. Its top neighbor is useful because 8 is greater than 1. So the memoization matrix corresponding to 8, 1 is stored. So it will return 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So in the memoization matrix, 2 will get stored. Okay, now finally, this is our memoization matrix. You can see that the maximum value of this is 4. So 4 is our output, and we have to just return back 4. Okay, so let's go over the code of this. So what we have to do is, initially we have to make a memo vector, vector matrix, which I am naming it memo. So vector int, and I am calling it memo. This is the matrix that we saw that is going to help us, and it's going to be of the same size as the matrix. So the number of rows are going to be same as the matrix. I'm going to give matrix dot size, and I'm going to give number of columns also same as the matrix. So for finding number of columns, I can give just matrix of 0 dot size, and initially I'm going to make all the values 0. So all the elements are initially 0 in this, and we are going to fill up the values. So we can make a variable, let's say max, so int max equal to 0, that we are going to finally return. So I'm going to return max as our answer. So in this particular case, 4 is going to be our max, and that is what is going to get returned. Okay, so now let's start iterating over all the elements. So first we'll use the I iterator for going over the rows. So for int I equal to 0, I less than matrix dot size I plus plus. So this is the row iterator, and similarly we'll give a column iterator. So for int j equal to 0, j less than matrix of 0 dot size, so that it iterates over all the column values. And now we will have to give a recursive call function. Okay, and we are going to give max of current max value. Okay, current max is the variable max, versus, let me give a very short named function. Let me call it lip, longest increasing path. So our function is lip, and in this function I'm going to pass matrix. I'm going to pass the current row value, current column value, and I'm going to pass the memo, right? So whichever is the max value of that, whichever is the maximum of the current maximum value, as well as the uh, function call, whatever value the function call is returning, that will get stored in a max variable. Finally we can return max variable. Okay, now we can just declare this function which we have made here, which we are calling that. So lip is the name of the function for longest increasing path, and it is accepting first parameter as matrix. Okay, so I am going to copy this from here. So it is going to accept the first parameter as matrix, second parameter is the row, third parameter is the column, fourth parameter is the memo matrix that we had declared. So it's going to accept memo. So I'm going to write memo. Okay, now we'll enter inside this function and we are going to declare the statements of this function. So the first thing that we will have to do is we'll have to check if it's out of bounds or not, because if it's out of bounds it will simply return 0. So if I is less than 0 or j is less than 0, or let's say I is greater than equal to matrix dot size, so if it's going out of bounds from below, or if it's going out of bounds from right side, so if j is greater than equal to matrix of 0 dot size, so if it is going out of bounds, then you can just simply return 0. Okay, second thing that we can check is if it is already having a value in the memoization matrix. So if memo of ij exists, then we need not waste time over the recursive call, we can just return that. Okay, so if this is greater than 0, because if it is equal to 0, that means its value has not been filled, and because initially by default we declared value 0. But if its value is greater than 0, that means we have filled the value. So if we have filled the value, we can just return the value and we can give return memo of ij. Okay, next, now we can make the function calls to its neighbors. Okay, given they satisfy the condition. Okay, let's say we are making function call to the down neighbor first. Okay, so how we are going to make this function calls? First, we'll have to check if it's not out of bounds. Okay, so if I plus 1, first of all, its down neighbor should never go out of bounds. So it should be less than matrix dot size, because if it goes out of bounds, it's useless. So if I plus 1 is less than matrix dot size, and also we'll give if I plus 1 is greater than equal to 0, so it's not going out of bounds. And then we will have to check if it's helping to form a, if it is a helpful neighbor or not. So how do we check if it's a helpful neighbor? So if it is going to form a increasing subsequence, right? So we will have to give that check. If let's say matrix of I plus 1 j, if this value is greater than matrix of ij, if the down neighbor is having a value greater than the current value, then it is a helpful neighbor, and if it is a helpful neighbor, then we can make the function call. So we will make the function call again to this function which I have called lip, short for longest increasing path, and it will pass matrix, but this time it will pass the row value by increasing one value I plus 1, because I'm calling the down neighbor. So we'll just increment the row value and we'll keep the j value, column value same, and then we will also pass the memoization matrix. Now whatever value this particular guy returns, okay, we will add 1 to that value for the current level. So we are adding 1, and max of, let's say, current max comma this value. So whatever is maximum of these two values, that will be equal to our current max. So I have not declared the current max variable, which I should declare. So I will declare here int current max. So initially it's 1, because for single element it's having a value of 1. So maximum of whatever value the function is returning plus 1 for the current level. Compare that to the current max. So whichever is maximum, that will get stored here. Now I can give similar calls for, let's say, right neighbor. Okay, so let's say I'm calling my right neighbor. So right neighbor, for right neighbor we'll just have to keep the row value same. We will have to increment the column. So j plus 1, so I will have to give the same thing. J plus 1 is less than matrix of 0 dot size, as well as j plus 1 should be greater than equal to 0, as well as you will have to give we'll have to check if matrix of I comma j plus 1, if its right neighbor is having a value greater than the current value. If that is true, then we can just uh, you know make a function call to the right neighbor. And now let me just copy the statements and we'll make simple changes. Let's say we are calling the left neighbor. Okay, so for calling the left neighbor, what we are going to do is we are going to keep the row value same, and we are going to just decrement the column value, and we'll call the left neighbor. So in place of j plus 1, I will just have j minus 1, and remaining things will just remain same. So that's what I will do. Okay, now I will have to make a call to my I have made a call to my down neighbor, right neighbor, left neighbor. I will have to make a call to my top neighbor. So for making a call to top neighbor, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just change the row value by 1, and column value is going to remain same. So j is same, and I is going to become I minus 1. So I will just copy this statement, and to save some time, and I will just make, in place of I plus 1, I will just have I minus 1, and remaining things are going to remain same. Okay, now after all these function calls, whatever is the current max value, that I can, store in my cache. So in my memo, so memo of ij will be equal to, let's say, current max. So this is a memory that I'm storing, so that I need not make recursive calls again and again. Now I can return finally current max for the current value. So I think that this should work. Let me just run and see if it is fine. So it's okay, and let me just submit and see if it's working for all the test cases. So it's an accepted solution. Thank you for being patient.